Kevin Neenan, a full-time harvester driver. Every
Oh,
month of the year, you're in a harvester. Explain that.
well, yeah, the last kind of 3 years there, well, 2.5 years, you could say, I've just been 6 months, went to America there just over a year, 2 years ago there now, and done 6 months on a harvester there. Still wasn't fed up with winning. And then I said, I had already done a season in New Zealand, say, previous to that. So I said I wanted to go back to New Zealand and I wouldn't mind missing a winter at home. So then jumped over to New Zealand. Actually, my second season out there, I was with the harvesting crew, but I wasn't actually on the harvester myself. And then done 7 months there, hopped across back to America again. And another season on a harvester there. So that was season number 3 in a row. And then still wasn't fed up with. So went back to New Zealand again, went to the South Island this time, drove a harvester there for 6 or 7 months. And then now we're in Meath.
You're
harvesting here as well.
You're with Kevin Mead here at the minute. How does a Roscommon man end up driving for Kevin Mead in County Meath? How did that come about?
There was a fella I was working with, say, my most previous season in New Zealand, the fella I was working with there, and he would have worked with Kevin years ago. And him and Kevin would keep contact fairly regular. And just Kevin mentioned to him one day that he might be looking for a guy in a harvester, and Eamon mentioned it to me. Would I like, he knew I was coming home for the summer, kind of had it in my head that I was going to come home this summer instead of going to America. And Eamon said to me, would I like to go over to Meath, drive a harvester for a couple of months? And I said, look, it'd be a nice change, be part of Ireland I never really would have had much to do with. So spoke to Kevin then a couple of evenings later, and that was kind of deal done from there. I told him once the season finished up in New Zealand that I'd kind of do a week around home and then make my way over. So that's kind of how that came about.
How long are you back?
I came back the 4th of May, so I'm back there a couple of months, but my first time home in just over 2 years. I was just over 2 years on the road, you could say.
So you're basically following silage and maize around the world?
More or less, yeah, just summer to summer. I haven't seen a winter in near 3 years at the stage, so I can't complain with that. When I got back here, I think it was my mother was saying, geez, it's lovely and warm today, and it was 15 or 16 degrees, and it was me in a hoodie and a pair of fucking jeans, and me redding with cold.
And what led you to, where did you wake up one morning and say, I want to go to Australia or New Zealand? How did it come about,
So I always said when I was younger, I said I'm going to do at least one season in New Zealand. I just had this thing in my head that I was desperate to do a season in New Zealand. And then I got my chance actually in the middle of COVID, when the whole country was locked down. I got a place in isolation in the North Island, and they had a place for me in a tillage farm, and I'd done that. And I was there for 4 or 5 months, and I said to myself when I was coming home out of it, I said, I'm not really finished. I knew myself that wasn't going to be my last season over there.
Yeah.
And I was desperate to go back. And then with COVID and everything, it was just still tricky to get into the country.
Yeah.
So I'd done a couple of months over in England, about 7 months there in England. And then I got my chance to go to America, actually, while I was in England. I met a guy who he's a recruitment agency for lads going to America. He said it to me, he said, do you ever think about going to America? And I said it never crossed my mind. And the space of a week, filled out an application form, done the interview with the company over there, and within 2 weeks the visa was applied for and flights were booked and done
Never looked back.
What was that?
Never looked back since?
No, never looked back since that. That was my first American season, was the first full season sat in one of these machines, and it's like a disease, you know what to say, green fever. It doesn't stop. Once you get a taste for it, you just don't want to stop, really, And then just kind of one thing led to another when I had done my American season, and just kind of kept the ball rolling from there. I said I was enjoying myself. I was getting hot weather 12 months of the year. Silage, there's always good crack when you're at the silage, so said, why not just keep it moving, you know?
And have you came from an agricultural background, or did you work with contractors back home in Roscommon?
Yeah, I would have. So I grew up in a dairy farm there at home, and my first season ever would have been with the fella who was cutting our silage at the time. That was when I was in school. I was 16 at the time, and then kind of done 2 summers with him, and then done 2 summers with another fella. So I would have done a lot of kind of, so you know, while I was in school and while I was in college and stuff like that. I would have done a lot of driving up home for lads and saying, you know, that sort of crack, like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it all stemmed from. I was driving since I was with contractors kind of from when I was 16 onwards, you know. So that's kind of where it all came from.
Was it intimidating? I'd say it was more nervous applying for the job, and then when you actually got the job for your first season away, were you kind of like going, oh shit, what am I?
No, I found the oh shit moment for me was, see, when you say goodbye to everybody for the last time and you get dropped off at the airport. To be fair, it happens every time I leave. It's just that even I'd say an hour, just in between saying goodbye and having your first pint in the airport. That's just that wee period of time is when you're kind of thinking, am I doing the wrong thing here, or should I be doing this at all? But then all that kind of goes to the back of your head, and then the excitement of what you're about to do kind of kicks in, you know.
I suppose that's only normal, because without sounding too more, but like, you never know if you're going to see them people again.
No.
You never know what phone call you're going to get in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Someone is sick, you need to come home.
Yeah.
So that's
100%.
That's only a normal feeling, like.
And it's one of them things, especially when you're traveling so far, you know, the likes of Australia or New Zealand, it's a long way away. And if you, and God forbid you are to get one of them calls, you are a horrid distance away, you know.
Yeah.
But that's kind of part, you know, when you sign up for flying that far away from home, that is kind of all part of going away from home. You know, there's missing family, and then there's every chance that when you're away, something might happen. It's just one of them things.
And now, I'm assuming you're a single man, no commitments, no ties, or else you have a very understanding woman.
No ties at all. You could I've seen people do it while they have a significant, like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever you want to call it. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, see there, I'm going back to America now in 3 or 4 weeks' time. That decision was made in the space of a couple hours. Got the call, kind of figured out what was going on, turned around and said, right, yeah, so I'm away from America there. You know, there's no point in doing this kind of 6 month sort of crack if you were to have a girlfriend or whatever, you know. So, no, I'm still single, unless I find somebody who's doing the same thing as myself, but it's highly unlikely.
And I don't want to sound too sappy here, but does it get lonely?
No, it actually doesn't, because you're always part of a crew. You've always got heaps of people around you, and it's every 6 months you're meeting a new gang of people almost again, and it's unbelievable. Like, you know, my last season there was with Quigley's in the South Island, and you know, there was over 40 of us together. Now you imagine you put 40 people,
40 lads on the silage crew.
Yeah. So I think there was 40 something hired from overseas all together.
Big outfit.
Oh, massive. But like, you know, it's hard to get lonely when you 40 lads all in their 20s. 40 lads and girls, sorry, all in their mid-20s. Someone's always having a drink somewhere, so you'd never really get lonely. So look, you'd be FaceTiming home there, you'd be calling home all the time, so it's, I don't really mind it as such. Now, it probably does bother other people a wee bit more than the likes of myself, but
was there many in your family when you, like, how did your ones at home take the news that I'm up and going? Were you expected to run the family farm, or?
Not really. Like, they always knew I was keen for travel. Like, from an early age, they knew at some point I was going to turn around and say, right, I have the flights booked.
So it didn't come as a surprise.
So it didn't really come as a surprise, no. Now, fairness, the first year I went away, it was a wee bit of a surprise because I was under the impression that I wasn't going to get to New Zealand because of COVID and the whole isolation thing. But then I got a call, I think it was somewhere in the first week of December, and the agreement was I was to fly out on the 28th of December. So I got about 3 to 4 weeks notice for my first time away. That was a small bit of a shock, but
Going away at Christmas or missing Christmas at home is always harder. Would you come home for Christmas?
No. Because see, if you're in New Zealand, Christmas, you're in the middle of silage, like, so there's no. Now some lads do manage to work it. Some lads do manage to get home at Christmas time, but look, there's not too often you get Christmas in 25-degree heat. So definitely not around here.
And so when's the last time you had a Christmas dinner at home?
Oh, I think it was 20. What do we know? 2024. Would have been 2021, 2020. I think was my last Christmas at home. So it does. The first Christmas away, all right, is tough. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just not what you're used to. But again, you're surrounded by people who are going through the very same thing.
Yeah.
You know, you could have 10 or 15 other lads who's their first Christmas away from home as well. So it makes it an awful lot easier that way, you know.
And would you have your own Christmas day out there, or is it just a normal day out there? Would you get the day off?
Yeah, generally you get the day off, or you might even get the day after off. And normally you'd, depending on where you are, you go to the beach, or you go to the pub, or you go for a barbecue. All depends on what you're at.
Us sitting at home here on the snow rat, the cold, and you on the beach.
Me on the beach having a beer. It's not a bad way to celebrate Christmas.
Living the dream. Would you call it a dream?
If this is the dream, I'd hate to see the nightmare. Like, look, it's grand. I can't complain. It's something I've always wanted to do. No, I never thought I'd have gone as far with it as what I have so far. Never thought I'd have done like 3 years, 2 years on the bounce, hopping back and over. I always kind of thought that I'd do one season abroad and come home, and that would have been me home.
Out, yeah.
And hasn't done that at all by any means. If anything, it's got worse.
As you've no intention now of saying, right, I'm done travelling, it's time to come home. And
see, when I came home in May, a couple of months ago, I said, that's it. I said, I'm home. I said, I'm sick of travelling. And about 6 weeks ago, I started to get itchy feet. And I was like, I have nothing planned. Where am I going next? And I started humming and hawing and thinking and what I was going to do. And then the company who I worked for in America rang me up 2 weeks ago and said, are you keen to come out at the end of August? Thought about it for all of
the phone call.
I'd say all of maybe 2 days. And I said, yeah, I want. So I'm away for America there now in 4 weeks.
When you get, we'll say, headhunted or recruited like that, they pay for your flights?
When you go to America, so you go in under what's called a H-2A visa. It's an agricultural workers visa. It's in the terms and conditions of that visa that your travel to and from that job is paid for, and your accommodation while you're in the country is paid for. So it's under the visa agreements.
Okay.
So depending on who you work with then will also depend on kind of what bonuses and benefits you get outside of that. Then, you know, the company I worked for, you got a crew pickup, you got free diesel while you were travelling to work. Now, if you went away on a holiday or whatever like that, you put your own diesel in, you know. But expenses are very low when you go to America, you know, like when your flights are paid for, it goes a hell of a long way.
Oh, yeah.
A hell of a long way.
How would you compare silage here, we'll say in County Meath, to the silage in America?
Did you see that hill there?
None of them.
There's none of them.
None of them.
No, there's no comparison. Like there is comparisons to a degree, but at the same time, there's not. You see the dairy there's a dairy we chop for, called Syracuse Dairy. It's a little town called Syracuse, southwest Kansas, and they're milking 10,000 cows plus on one site. You know, you'll see stuff out there you'd never see anywhere else. Never see it anywhere else.
10,000 cows.
Look, it's 10,000 plus, but that's what it is. It doesn't feel like a farm. See, when you go up to the actual dairy itself, it doesn't feel like a farm, like what you'd see around here at all. It's just a huge milk factory is what it is, more or less. Yeah.
And Are you doing it for the money or for the love of it?
That's a good question.
So this video, what we're doing here now is anyone that's watching this is kind of on the fence thinking, jeez, I'd love to go, but I don't know. So, these are things, it's about money. And,
Yeah. It all, look, you could make it all about money. You could make it all about money and make good money at it. But at the same time, when you travel halfway across the world, you're not there to just work. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't fly to New Zealand to just sit in a harvester for 6 months and then come home again. You go, you travel, you see things, you do things. So depending on how much of the country you want to see would all depend on how much money you bring home. Do you know that sort of way?
Yeah.
So, like, while we were in New Zealand there, any time off, you'd always go somewhere. You'd always go and do something, And the same in America. When we got gaps in between chopping, say, you go on holiday. We went to Vegas. I think we spent 5 or 6 nights in Vegas the last time.
That fairly rattly account.
Yeah, you'll never come out of Vegas too well.
There's only one winner there. It's not you. So to anyone watching here, give them advice, guidance on
travel. Like
someone is sitting on the fence and they are thinking now, yeah, I'd like to go, I'm not sure.
Yeah, go. Just all I would say is just go and do it. At least try it. Because you'll never get the chance again to be that young to get an opportunity to travel halfway around the world, to go and cut silage in different countries and different continents and whatever else have you. And what I've seen is a lot of lads might get cold feet the first week or two.
Yeah.
And they'll fly home. Yeah. It's the worst thing you could ever do.
Give it a fun.
What I used to say to myself was, I'll give it enough time. Say if I paid for my own flights, I'd say I'll give it enough time until my flights paid.
Yeah.
Then at least if you go home, you haven't lost only time.
Yeah.
You haven't lost any money. And what I'd say is, if you give it enough time to actually pay for your flights, you'll actually start to enjoy it. And if you aren't enjoying it in that stage, then look for something different. Don't fly home. I've seen too many lads that flew home and you be talking to them while they're gone home, whatever, and within 2 weeks, they'll turn around and say, I should have tried something different. I shouldn't have came home. But definitely, for anybody interested in any style of machinery, or even farming in general for that matter, do 1 season abroad. Minimum 1 season.
How would you go about, how would someone go about how to start the process of getting out there?
So you'd see a lot of companies, an awful lot of companies use Facebook now. Facebook is probably the biggest recruiter, or the biggest, how would I say it? Like, Facebook is probably the best way that most companies out there will recruit at this stage. So if you were looking at New Zealand, you'd just start liking and following pages in New Zealand, contractors, whatever you can find, and just wait until the season ends out there in kind of April, May, and see around June, July, they'll start advertising for the following year. Just have a decent CV with some sort of experience behind you and just start applying. And 9 times out of 10, somebody will get back to you with something. And from there, then it's just visa paperwork. And
will they help you with that?
Yeah, most crowds, say if it's your first season gone out, you've never left home, most places will give you guidance on how to go through the whole visa process. It's not as bad and it's not as paper heavy as what people think it is.
I think it used to be a lot worse than it was.
I'd say so. Like, see, from my first year even to now, there's even now there's not that much paperwork. Now, America does have a good bit of paperwork, but it's all fairly simple, like just run-of-the-mill kind of questions is all it is, But it's a process. Once you get used to it, you do it off the back of your hand, really.
Yeah. You enjoy it. That's the main thing, and it's.
Yeah, look, that's it. Like, go out and enjoy it, and just go from there. There's no point in going out there and not enjoying it at the same time. So, look, I loved it. I had 3 seasons done in New Zealand and 2 in America, soon to be 3,
And by the side of things, I want to do another 3.
Oh, I don't know. I promised myself when I came home this year, this will be the last season, but
oh, mammy, you'll forget what you look like.
Oh, she'll not forget what I looked like. She'll be glad to see the back of me again.
No.
No.
And have you intentions of settling down and running the family farm, or?
At the moment, no. At the moment, I'm still in travel mode.
What age are you?
25. 25. Be old enough to start settling down and thinking about that.
Yeah, you probably should, like.
Me?
Yeah.
Not at 25.
No.
No. I'll worry about that in 5 years' time.
You'd be too old. It mightn't work for you.
Oh, there's plenty of ways around that. Jeez, if it stopped working in 5 years' time, it'd be in bad shape, wouldn't it?
Honest to God. Yeah, no, it's definitely living the dream, and
Look, there's definitely worse ways of living, that's for sure. Now, the hours, in fairness, the hours do, like, if you're doing it season after season, the hours do start to catch you a fair bit.
do you say to yourself, I'm taking April off, I'm taking May off? Do you take 3 or 4 weeks to yourself just to recharge, or do you get an odd day or two here and there?
If the seasons, say I'm going from one season to another, if they don't overlap and I have a block in between, which is rare enough now, normally most seasons will overlap by a couple of weeks, so you end up trying to keep both parties happy. If you get me, you leave before one season is completely finished and you arrive to the next place while the season has already started.
Yeah.
So they do overlap, but if I do get a chance, I'll always you just take time off and you just relax. That's what, like New Year's there now, we booked off a lot of days, booked off 3 or 4 days, went off down to a place called Queenstown. It's nice to unwind too. Yeah.
You need to unwind and look after it yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Kevin, when you came home and you were handed the keys of a brand new 241 John Deere harvester, was it daunting for you, or were you used to new harvesters? Are you in fresh machinery out there?
Yeah, like look, any of the harvesters that would have driven in America were all brand new. The harvester I drove in New Zealand was only May season old, so she'd done be used to fresh gear. Now, first season I went out, I wouldn't have ever sat in these for a long period of time. But you get good training, like, he knew when I went out, that I had zero experience at one of these.
Connor's trying to make fun of the whole thing here.
Jack is trying to he's trying to fix his own here, you see.
I think he's jealous.
He's jealous
of Cameron with him.
How many lenses do you have before they start breaking? But look,
would you know the John Deere fairly well inside out?
Yeah, look, every day is a school day, so they say you're all the time learning, but I'd be more familiar with the deer than I would the class. Like, I've just spent more time on them, say, than I have a class. So it's kind of what I'm more used to driving. So it's a thing of what you know.
Will we blow the comments up here now, the comment section up? John Deere or class?
No,
Look,
be honest, go on.
You'd have men that'll be die-hard class, then you'll have men that'll be die-hard John Deere, and same as Crone, you all in them all. I think myself, it's all down to what backup the dealer can give you at the end of the day. Who can be out to you if you're in need of a mechanic from, say, like the likes of one of the dealers. It's who can get to you the fastest when things do go wrong, because they're all that similar in horsepower and similar in throughput at this stage that it all boils down to price tag and the dealer backup, So, as long as it's got aircon and a fairly decent seat in the radio, it doesn't bother me as such.
Yeah. And a question, or I don't know how you'd word it, is it a question or a statement? So I've put up a few videos on TikTok lately.
Yeah.
Of particularly JFs, and right few people in the comments filling on the wrong side, so filling on the left.
Yeah.
We are sitting in it on our left. Lads would say, no, you should be filling on the right. What's your thought on that?
To me, it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter to me. Like, The lads even know here, I'd be flipping the spout left to right. Like, I'll predominantly put the lads out to the left because,
That's what we're used to in this country.
well, that's what we're used to, but most tractor drivers are used to looking over their right-hand shoulder. That's the way they're used to looking. Now, I know some lads say for the harvester driver, well, you're looking away from your controls, but you can see me filling that load. I'm not necessarily staring down to figure out what button I'm supposed to be pressing.
Well, if you don't know it after this, then you're fucked.
But you're not. To me, like, I filled on both sides. You know, the States is all out to the right, so the truck driver could see you. To me, it doesn't really matter.
I hope Jack doesn't get stuck now. He's getting stuck in that tractor a lot.
Be a shame for him to put a scratch in that new trailer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Who are these strong trailers?
I don't know anything about them, to tell you the truth. That only arrived there. He only picked that up this evening, so I haven't even got a look at it.
Suits the Massey.
Does suit the Massey. It's a nice colour. It's just a shame. Funny enough, we were on about filling on the left and the right. She's spec'd to fill on the right and meshes on the other side.
Aye, she's American.
Well, American or English or anybody who fills out that side, to be fair.
To be English film that side.
From what I've seen, now I've never done any grass over in England myself, but from what I've seen, they do everything out to the right. Look, it's all down to personal preference. There's no right side or wrong side, really. I think there's no right side or wrong side. It's all down to what, say, the lads in the tractor are comfortable with and what the man sitting here is comfortable with as well.
Yeah.
Wouldn't bother me as such, but, you know, as long as it's going into the trail, I don't really care what. You can sit behind me as long as it's going in. Could do it more trailers. Not more.
I can't help you with that. You document some of your experiences abroad on TikTok. An idiot abroad, am I right in saying?
What? That's still in my bio, I think, yeah.
Well, that's your username, is it not?
Username is not an idiot abroad, that's just a description.
Well, I thought it was your username.
Look, it's nice. I'd a post odd video there. I'd far from take it seriously, but it's a bit of crack. For some reason, people seem to find it interesting when I'm doing so.
Well, sure, of course they do. Like, I'm not going to say it's a young lad's dream, but there's a lot of young lads out there that's kind of the reason why I'm doing this video.
Yeah.
I have quite a younger following, not young following, but teenagers, early 20s, interested in grass, leaving comments about different bits and pieces, like, so.
Yeah.
Kind of, this is a how to get to America or New Zealand.
Facebook would definitely be the biggest thing on a decent CV and good references if you can get them at all. The biggest thing is, say when you leave, say you've worked for a fella over the past couple of summers at home, get a reference letter. Just ask him, here, look, I'm not going to go abroad. Can you do me up a reference letter, or can I at least give your number? That if I apply for a job, they can ring you up and you can say, yeah, look, he done this, that, and another, you know.
Yeah. But your advice to anyone is try it.
Try it once and
give it a month.
Yeah, try it once, give it a month. If you're not liking where you're at, move somewhere else or do some travelling. Don't be hasty with coming home, because you might never get the chance again. You know, I'm lucky enough. I've got lots of chances.
But you're kind of being headhunted. You have lads ringing you, asking you to come back, or...
Yeah, I wouldn't say headhunted. Like, you know, anywhere I worked abroad so far, I've applied for it, and I've kind of got in the same way as everywhere else. But it's always nice to be asked back to a place, you know.
Yeah, well, you must be good at driving them. You're getting the hang of this anyway.
I'd want to be getting the hang of this. No, like, it is lovely to be asked back. Not, you know, not burn your bridges with a place. At least, you know, if you leave, you can always say to yourself, right, well, if I ever want to go back to that place, I can just ring them up and say, here, look, there'll be any bit of work going for me or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely go abroad once at least.
Try it. Try it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You know, you try anything once.
Yeah, but you're not going to be the first person that went and came home early.
No, absolutely not. No matter where you go, there'll be people that'll come home early. And look, if you do come home early, at least you can turn around and say, well, I give it a shot, anyways, I give it a go.
I don't know, it wasn't for me. It's not going to be for everyone.
No, it's not. Definitely not. But it will be for a lot of people. And even people that think, geez, I don't know, would I like to do that? And they're kind of on the fence. Just go. Just give it a shot. Like,
if you enjoy it here, you're going to enjoy it out there. Yeah.
It can vary. Like, people to work for, people can be tricky to work for. You might not necessarily get on with some of the people you're living with. There's a lot of things you take into factor for that sort of crack, especially if you go to a bigger crew. Like I said there was almost 40 people employed where I was.
And when you go back now, will you be back with your old team? Will there be a few boys there again that or will it be a fresh start for everyone again?
When I go, I'm going back to America. The crew I'm going back to in America, there's one guy currently there who I would have brought to previous, and then there's 2 lads there who I've never met before. But it's only a small crew, like they only hire 3 lads every year.
Oh, right.
So that company himself, he just owns the harvesters. The stack, like the packing on the pile, the swathing and the spring work and all the trucks, they're all outside. They're all just subbed in. So it's less headaches. He still organises it from start to finish. He organises the knocking of the crop, the picking, the packing, the whole lot. But he only actually owns the 5 harvesters. He just orchestrates everything else.
Have you ever sat down and calculated how many acres you left it?
No. So I hate to think. I haven't a clue. If I spend time and thought about it, I'd probably work it out, but
you'd be up there in the 5 figures, like. You'd be up over 10,000 easily.
Oh, I'd be well over 10,000. I'd say I'd be closer to 20 or 30 probably, give or take, in the last 3 or 4 years. And I still haven't got enough out. You think I'd see sense at some stage? No.
No, definitely not.
But it's a disease, like, it's a hard one to get rid of. Worse than COVID.
Funny, I was doing a video there for TikTok a couple of weeks ago saying that to you earlier, and I hadn't drew a load of grass in, 14 years.
So yeah.
And I think I drew 6 or 7 loads that evening, and that knocked the horn of grass off me. I just thought, no, that's enough of that. Enough.
Look, I know myself, I will get sick of it eventually.
But what will you chase then?
It's a good question.
Lorries? Diggers?
Diggers, probably. I was never obsessed with lorries. Funny enough, like most lads.
You're lucky.
But most lads that are into this have some sort of a graft for lorries. I couldn't be arsed with them.
Well, a lot of the lorry drivers, like, kind of started silage. If their father wasn't a lorry driver, they started silage, and then it was like, right, tractors are getting balls, mate, I want bigger.
Yeah.
That's the way. And to be fair, you can see it in different boys. Like, a lorry man that has done silage, especially in my generation, we weren't in machines like this. Like, we were on 3350s on hills like yon over there, and the brakes of the trailer on a spool valve. Like, yous cunts are fucking spoiled here.
I'm not spoiled. Me heated, or the cooling seat stopped working this morning.
First year I ever done a silage with 3350, I had no mirrors, no radio, and the seat was no spring in it, like. And a 17-foot trailer, and it wasn't in big fields like this either. I'll tell you that much for nothing.
And here's me getting annoyed this morning that the cooling seat stopped working this yuck. I put a dampener on the start of the day now.
I'd say that.
Got a fault code here, your heated seat and cool seat isn't working. I said, what's going to be a long day?
Tim, something wrong with this.
I said,
another one.
The driver won't drive.
Why is it broke down? Yeah, the heating seat. The cooling seat's not working.
The cooling seat's not working. He's getting sticky.
Honest to God.
Yeah.
Right, Kevin, I think we're going to
take 2.
We're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And thanks for the chat.
No bother at all.
It's been informative and interesting, and
Well,
So for the last time, if anyone is thinking about going abroad, do it.
100%. Just go, give it a crack. If you don't like it, have a go at something else. If you still don't like it, do a bit of travelling, see the country you're in, and then if all else fails, come home, because you won't be the first one that came home early. Like,
Oh, and you'll not be the last.
no, you'll definitely not be the last. Plenty of them.
Gavin, the best of luck to you on
100%.
travels. And
Thanks,
sure,
million.
the next time you come home, we might have a catch up with you.
Sure, no
Whether
bother.
it be next year or 5 or 6 years.
You know when I'd appear back.